Expanding love. Last week I was kind of talking about how basically the meaning of life is having kids. I want to expand on that, what I mean by that, because that's a big statement to make, right? And so, what I'm really saying with this is that the purpose of creation of life is to create and to keep expanding in consciousness and to keep expanding in love and awareness of itself. And so, what is the greatest way that we can do that? It's by helping to expand life, by creating. And so, yes, we can do that in the form of creations, using our creativity to create art and all of these things that are expressions of our heart and expressions of our soul and expressions of who we really are and this depth of all that it is that we contain, which at the end of the day is this love, this life. And the thing is we can kind of play with that and spin around with that for a while, but eventually you just do come back around to this deep knowing that the way you can create and spread the most love is through bringing another being onto this earth. And the reason why, just thinking that having kids being the meaning of life can, just be a little too simple, like I used to think, comes from this idea that I think that that we've just had so many examples of people doing that unconsciously. People doing that perhaps from their slave programming of just procreating more slaves for the system to perpetuate itself. But we're moving beyond that now, as more and more of us are reclaiming our sovereignty, remembering who we really are and what we're really capable of, being prepared to take responsibility for our lives and stepping out of slave-like systems, meaning that we take on the risk and we don't expect somebody else to come and save us. We take it all on. We take it all on. And so that's the risk that we take onto ourselves, but also the creation that we take back for ourselves and that we do consciously and with intention. And so, it's easy to have seen making kids and creating in that way as not being a form of creation, because again it's been done so unconsciously, and still is. But again, a lot of us just have examples of those unconscious ways of creating families and kids, so that we just don't even remember that that's a possibility, that we can really create and co-create with a partner on this massively deep level of really perpetuating love. And so that's why whenever we create anything, it's really great to check in with our intention around it. And I'll share a link to a video that I created before I had a baby, where I was just asking myself the reasons of why I wanted to have a baby, because if we really, really go deeper into the why behind what we do in anything, even, or behind some of our desires. I got a comment from somebody on my video called Half-Truths About Desires, where, they kind of said, well, I kind of feel like all desires are bad. And I disagree with that, though I think that that's, it depends on what kind of space that we're coming from. But I think that some desires are put there by God, Goddess, this life force. And that was my experience, whereas I was starting to desire to have a kid. I didn't want it to be this thing of just I'm supposed to have a kid because that's what I'm supposed to do. Is that desire really coming from me? Where is this desire coming from? And I was noticing that this was a desire that was put in my heart by this bigger life thing that wanted me to help life thrive through continuing to expand love in this physical form of creating another being by bringing another soul in. And that's actually the most beautiful, massive form of creation. I'm just like noticing how the lighting is like kind of turned all weird on this video because all the light in the back got I'm disappointed because I'm like, now it's gonna be all dark, and I'm like, but all of this that's coming through is so juicy and good, and I don't want to restart it, and it's noisy. I left the window open because there was a wasp like in the room somehow. Anyway, this is where we always just like surrender into moving past any perfection, and just like trusting and flowing with what wants to come through, whether it's perfect or not, right? I always like to remind myself of that and remind you of that too, because I feel like that's what part of this like surrendering and expressing from the heart really is like accepting that it's not going to be perfect, but flowing with that energy that's going to come through anyway, and still putting it out there, because we just see so much like polished stuff all the time that's not necessarily real, or genuinely like heartfelt. And so anyway, yeah, just like recognizing that we can like participate in helping life thrive and continue through like bringing on beings through our bodies is like a massive creation. It's like the next level of creation. And so I guess what I also want to say on this, because I know it was in my own process of trying to understand if or why I wanted to have a kid, and like if it was really the right idea, I had to work through a lot of programming that I received, and I think a lot of people in my generation received, thanks to like depopulation agendas that really just encourage us not to have kids, encourage us to see that like, or to think that not having kids is like a valuable endeavor, to try to convince a lot of us to move away from that, to step away from that. And so I know that I have encountered a lot of women who are older than myself, who also helped me in making my decision, because I saw them regretting their decision to focus on career, regretting their decision to put off having a baby, even though, one woman that I know, she said like, I have too many friends who have like worked so hard, gotten their PhD, and then just threw it all away and had a baby and didn't end up doing anything with it, and I don't want to be one of those women. And it's like, okay, that's one way of looking at it, and believing that story, that that's throwing it all away. But I think there's another story, and the story is that we've been distracted or attracted to certain paths, telling us that they're like gonna give our ego some kind of esteem, some kind of worth in the society, and really like that isn't what our soul is actually telling us, or it doesn't actually fulfill us as much as this other path can. And so yeah, maybe you can have it all, maybe, or also maybe you can know that choosing to be a mother is a worthy endeavor as well, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be the only thing that you're going to do. Though at the end of the day, like if you're really connecting to the priorities, like taking care of that and nurturing that life can, like, we have to give the value back to it, and reclaim it, and it takes some serious retraining of ourselves. And I would say those around us, but like who cares what those around us think, because at the end of the day, it's up to us and like what we're creating, and what we do with our creation, what we do with this expansion of consciousness and love that is within our grasp, within our ability to keep within our care, And so I know that I can say that even though I searched deeply through like many of the desires that were on my heart, this was one that was there that I was like terrified of for many reasons. There is that question of like, do I really want to bring like another life into this crazy world, you know, and that's a program as well of like, oh, everything is shit, we can't bring more babies onto this planet, it's overpopulated, it's going to hell, like all of these ideas, when really if we come back to and see the beauty that is all around us actually, and like the wonder and the amazement of like bringing another soul onto this beautiful planet and being able to show them all of the beauty here and witness their like discovery of all of the magical things in the world, and then just like seeing them connect to their soul and to their own mission, and just accompanying them in that through conscious parenting as well, which is a whole other whole other topic. But yeah, it's all just beauty and magic and a true expansion of consciousness and of love, and it's a great honor to be able to do that. And so if you choose to do that for yourself, then I wish you all the best. Alright, I'm gonna leave on that. Again, with this wonky lighting, I'll try to find something else what's better next time. Just trying to make things work on nap time, you know? Whatever's fastest, but yeah. Alright, lots of love.